Today, we mark a turning point. The EPA and HHS are acting together to confront microplastics as a human health threat, and we are doing it with urgency and discipline. Plastic has become embedded in modern life. It's also become embedded in the human body. Researchers have detected microplastics in human blood, lung tissue, liver, kidneys, and human placenta. Studies have found them in more than 80 of people tested. One analysis estimates that the average person ingests tens of thousands of microplastic particles each year through food, water, and air. Another study reports concentrations in the brain equivalent by mass to roughly a spoonful of plastic in every human brain. And this number, by the way, has gone up by 50% since 2016. And inevitably, it's going to go up exponentially if we continue along the same road. And in a study of 62 placentas, every single sample contained microplastics, evidence that exposure begins before birth. This is not a rare exposure. This is baseline. We are not dealing with a distant or theoretical risk. We are dealing with a measurable and growing presence inside the human body. And the signal is getting stronger. Animal studies show that microplastic exposure can drive inflammation, cardiovascular damage, impaired cognition, and tumor growth. Human data raises parallel concerns. Diseased tissue consistently shows higher concentrations of microplastics than when compared to healthy tissue. In one major clinical study, patients with microplastics detected in arterial plaque faced a 4.5-fold higher risk of heart attack, stroke, or death in less than 3 years. That's a 450% elevated risk. We do not ignore signals like that. We investigate them. But we still do not have clear answers about causation or solutions. We cannot reliably quantify total microplastic burden in individuals, and we can't distinguish which particle sizes, shapes, components, or polymers drive the worst toxicity. We do not yet understand how these particles interact with the immune system, the endocrine system, or the neurological system. And we do not have validated methods to remove them safely. Not all microplastics behave the same. Different materials accumulate in different organs and appear to drive different biological effects. Without that distinction, there is no roadmap for action. We can't treat what we cannot measure. We cannot regulate what we don't understand. So today, HHS, through ARPA-H, Alicia Jackson here, alongside EPA, is taking direct action. We are launching STOMP, which stands for Systematic Targeting of Microplastics. It's a $144 million national program to measure, understand, and to remove microplastics from the human body. We are focusing on 3 questions: what is in the body, what's causing the harm, and how do we remove it? And we're answering them in that order. We will first build and standardize gold-grade tools capable of detecting and quantifying microplastics across tissue and fluids with precision. Next, we will map how microplastics move through the body, how they cross biological barriers like the gut lining or the blood-brain barrier, where they accumulate, and how long they persist. Third, we will develop targeted, clinically safe strategies to reduce microplastic burden in the body. We will also prioritize those at the greatest risk: pregnant women whose exposure reaches the developing fetus, children whose bodies and brains are still in formation, workers in high exposure environments, and patients with chronic conditions that may be exacerbated by inflammatory or toxic stressors. The science has not kept pace with the scale of exposure. We are now going to close that gap. We are bringing together engineers, clinicians, toxicologists, and data scientists. We are setting measurable targets. We are holding ourselves accountable for results. I want to thank Alicia Jackson, the director of RPH, for driving this effort forward, and my colleague and friend, Administrator Lee Zeldin at EPA, the Assistant Administrator for Office of Water, Jessica Kramer, and everyone else at the EPA for aligning environmental and human health priorities into a single mission. Together, we're going to define the risk, build the tools, and act on the evidence regarding microplastics. We're not going to speculate, we're going to measure. We're not going to delay, we are going to move. And thanks to the leadership of President Trump, we will give the American people clear answers about what's in their bodies and what it means for their health. This is how we're going to make America healthy again. Thank you, and I'm now honored to introduce my colleague, my friend, Administrator Lee Zeldin.